as we get rolling. Autumn Wheaton, I like it. Long intro this morning. Jason and I were having I had to go get my coffee. I had to go get my coffee. Are you one of those coffee type guys, Jason?
Not really, but probably could be.
It's back when I was doing car sales, they tried to turn me into coffee.
Oh,
and,
yeah? When did you do car sales?
Oh, you know how it is. You know, it is what it is.
Did you have the hard bargaining techniques?
No, I didn't. But I had the nice, hey, genuine, how you doing? Let's get you through this technique. And I sold a lot of cars.
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
It was good.
We had to buy a car.
There we are, by the way. Hey.
Oh, yeah, there we are. We had to buy a car last year, and I mean, I can't.
I can already hear the frustration.
I wish. I told the guy. I told the guy this, that I was buying a car from. I mean, I think the majority of people would rather just pay an average price for a car, not super deal, but not get ripped off. Just kind of in the middle. And just be able to go in there and buy a car. I mean, you can buy a house easier than you can buy a car because the way that they do these negotiation tactics. And everybody knows how it works. I mean, it was so frustrating. And I went to several different dealerships, and everyone was the same. You know, it was, let me go talk to my manager. I don't know if I can do this. You know, we got to, and then they throw in all these little additional packages that, you got this and this. And I was just like, the guy was like, I hate this. He said, I told him, I was like, I hate this. I hate tell me what you'll sell. No, I mean, that's it. I mean, I don't want to go back and forth. It's ridiculous. And the guy says, well, everybody hates buying cars and mattresses. I'm thinking, where are you buying your mattress from?
Was that part of his technique?
I guess. I mean, he hadn't bought a mattress in a while. But
goodness.
Last time I went to Sam's, I didn't have to bargain with the guy over a mattress.
Sounds like hogwash, what my dad would say. It's a bunch of hogwash. What is hogwash, by the way? You're an ag guy. What is that, just the leftover water after you wash a hog?
I guess it
is. The nastiness of whatever it is. Oh, well, no, I did. I sold cars for a hot minute. I did really, really well.
I can imagine.
I'm going to throw it out there. I did well. I'm not a salesperson, but I just love to meet people where they're at.
Right.
I think that's why I love ministry so much is we just meet people where they're at. And so here, let me tell you why I got out of car sales. Mike Stevens is not the reason. Mike Stevens is the reason I got in. Mike is a great man. He taught me more than anyone else in sales. And he taught me this. He said, sell the appointment, don't sell the car. Mm-hmm. And he thought I'd be great on the internet side of things. Well, let me tell you, they always say, you need to work your way up to be the internet salesman. No, you don't. Because everyone is looking for the cheapest price, and they've already hit 20 other dealers. Yeah. And so you're just kind of 1 in 20, and you probably don't have the cheapest price, and the consumer is looking for the best price. And so it's a long, drawn-out, let's go chase 100 leads to sell one car type job. By the way, just telling you. So Mike told me these things, sell the appointment, don't sell the car. And I took that with me whenever I started selling advertising and marketing. I think it really helped me develop more of a passion for marketing and advertising. I really love to help businesses and to promote them. Mm-hmm. And I learned that I'm not trying to sell every person the first time I meet them. Mm-hmm. What I'm trying to do is get an appointment with them in person. And so when they would call that dealership or those internet leads, I'd get a hold, or I'd call them. I say, well, hey, Tom, how you doing today? Well, I'm pretty good. I'm looking for the blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure they thought I was blah, blah, blah also on the other end. I said, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Why don't you just come on in? Let's come down, and I'm not going to push you into anything. I promise. I'm pretty easygoing. Why don't you just come in, and let's take a look, and we have that vehicle you're looking for. I just cut right to the chase. I said, well, come on in. Well, what's the price going to be? And I told him, here's the price, but come in. Let's talk about it. Mm-hmm. And I was very insistent on coming in and talking about it. And Mike told me that even after I left, he was using, because we recorded all the calls, he would use my calls to train other people because he taught me that. And so you're not trying to sell the car over the phone.
Right.
Well, I only worked there a month and a half, Jason. Okay. Now, you heard me say I sold quite a bit of cars, right?
Yeah.
and one of the seasoned, you get the seasoned salesman in this industry. One of the seasoned used car salesmen told me, he's Hip, you're going to make so much money, man. You're doing awesome. He's like, you're just killing it. I got my first check. Okay, this is 6 days a week work. You don't get off on Saturday. Okay? Guess what my first check was? I had sold like 12 cars, Jason. I thought I was rolling, brother. Because there are guys that have been there for a year that are only selling 5 or 6 a month. Guess what my first check was on about 12 cars?
How much?
Just take a wild guess. Because now I'm giving you hints, I was only there a month and a half.
$2,000.
I wish. $800.
$800.
I said, see, I'll give you 2 weeks. And they took out all this money for, well, we got to take out money for your shirts, and we got to take out money for this, and we got to take out money for this. And I said, no, you're just taking out money to put in. And it's not Mike's fault. Mike's no longer with this dealership. And the other thing that really rubbed me the wrong way was exactly what you said, the financial department of these places. Now, we had a really good financial guy, but he was just all about the money. That's what it comes down to. And so I remember there was a lady that I knew. I feel like the Lord has given me a gift of discernment to know that I know when somebody is really being genuine when they're hurting. You're like me. We want to help everybody, but you also know that there's some folks that are just hurting to hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's not our job to judge them, but in the car business, you do kind of weed that out. You have to. And I knew this lady, Jason, when she came in, she had her kids with her. I knew that this poor woman was just really struggling. And she was desperate for a vehicle. And so we went and drove around, and, I found a car for her. I said, well, look, this isn't everything you're looking for, but it's going to – I just asked people straight up, what do you want your monthly payments to be? And then they'd tell me. I said, well, look, I've got a few cars. It's probably not going to be what you're looking for, but I don't want to waste your time.
Right.
And she respected that. And so I got her – we got her into a car, and we started looking at the financials. She ended up liking the car. It was a little bit older, but it was a good car. And we got her in there, Jason, and she developed a liking for it. We went and drove it. She said, yeah, this will work great for me and my kids. I said, awesome. Well, let's go do the part that nobody likes to do. And I would always tell people that because they knew that it was coming. And I said, but I'm not going to beat around with you. And I did. I had to go back and forth. It's just how it goes. And I'll never forget, though, the sales guy, or the finance guy, not the sales, I was a sales guy. The finance guy, I told him, I said, well, look, man, she's already told me this is all she can do, because he had a number that was like $200 more. I said, man, she can't. I've already told you she can't do this. He got angry, and he wrote on that piece of paper in real big letters, or numbers, 350, and it was almost like one of those jumbo permanent markers. He wrote 350, circled it, and then threw it down threw that pen down on his desk, and he's like, "You go tell that bleeping and bleep 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 that this is the best we can do." And he goes, "And you're not making a dime on the deal." And that in that flash of a moment, everything that this company said they represented, I discredited because of that. And that's why it's so important when you work. This is the inspiration this morning. Because I know the owners of that company, they weren't like that. But this guy made me in that moment discredit everything that family had built. Because this guy had been there 20 years, and I'm like, does the owner know he's treating people like this behind the scenes? And I'll be honest, in that moment, Jason, I said, I'm done. I said, I don't want to work for somebody that treats people like this. And it's so weird. Have you ever been in a situation where you feel like you're doing what you're supposed to do, and then in a flash, immediately you're like, this ain't it? And then every ounce of motivation that you have for what you're doing just goes away? You know what I'm saying? Have you ever had that?
Yeah.
I mean, in an instant. And in an instant, I didn't want to be there anymore. And I went back. I got the lady the car, and I remember the next day I talked to Mike. I said, Mike, I just can't do this here, man. I'm not cut out for this stuff. And he's like, well, I told you it takes thick skin. I said, I know, man. I have skin that's foil. This stuff to hair is pretty easy. And so, long story short, I ended that job, and God set me up in the career I'm in now in broadcasting and now in media. But it's all part of that process. And I took away from Mike a lot of good things, and one of them was learn how to sell the appointment, not the car.
Yeah. And I just feel like that someone out there is going to make a lot of money one day by figuring out what you can sell a car for. The money that you have to – I told the guy whenever he was trying to sell me the car, I was like, I know you got to make money. I'm not trying to shortchange you or I know that that's part of business. You have to make a profit. But figure out what the profit margin is on these things. Figure out what the salesperson needs to make, and then just set a price and stick with it. Stick with the price. And I mean, you can have sales or whatever and rebates or whatever, but stick with the price, and I think you will sell 10 times more vehicles, because a lot of people are like me. I don't want to drive away from that dealership feeling like either, boy, I really got a great deal, or number two, boy, they should rip me off. You know what I'm saying?
My dad used to say a phrase, I won't say the beginning of it, but it ended in blued and tattooed. You know what I'm talking about? My dad always said that phrase.
Yeah. And I know some really good car men and women that are out there that do that work really hard. But I just think as a whole, the industry as a whole, their philosophy or their way about doing business is antiquated. That's not a model for doing business. People don't want to spend 2.5 hours of their day, going and buying a car. It's just, if you, with all the research that's out there nowadays and all the things, like you said, you can look at prices from all around.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to, if you realize you have the money, you realize you can make the payments or whatever you're going to do, go in there and buy the thing and go home. I don't want to spend 2.5 hours doing that. I'd rather just buy it online if I could.
Look right here. DeMontron, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep. This was from like a year ago. I was just seeing what the value of my truck was. I've repeatedly told them, quit emailing me. I've hit unsubscribe weekly. And they still get me.
Yeah, that's all you're doing. When you hit unsubscribe, all you're doing is saying, send me more.
Yeah, Google needs to fix that. That's a Google thing that, it says, oh, they're interested more.
We're getting a response. This is not a bot. This is actually a human on the other end of the line. Hit them even harder.
and one of the worst phrases that I've heard, and people in the professional sales world are going to disagree with me on this, and that's okay. I'm a consumer. One of the other theories that are sketchy. This segment's called
pseudoscience.
Yeah, pseudoscience. This segment's called sketchy theories. Okay, sketchy theories. There's another sketchy theory in sales that we're taught as salespeople to say that no doesn't mean no. It means not right now. That is completely false. If you're coming to my house to sell me a new septic tank and I don't need one and I tell you no, that doesn't mean no, not right now. That means no, get off my property. I don't need a septic tank.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I know why they teach that in the corporate. They teach it in the corporate world because they want their salespeople to have this attitude and this mindset of, well, just keep after them. Yeah. No, we live in a world now where people just want to be left alone.
Yeah, they do.
Leave them alone, man.
Let them come to you. I mean, that's why I can see how internet sales would be. But, so in the process of purchasing this vehicle, it's for my daughter. She was going to college. We had to get her something. And so we thought, I really thought about used versus new, and then we looked at it, and the newer ones, the payments weren't going to be that different than the used ones, and I knew that it would be safer and more reliable. So I decided, okay, let's get her a new one. And then so we went around. I looked at different prices online and whatnot, but none of those prices are online are what you're going to pay. I figured that out really quick because you go in there. And this is the price online. Okay, that is with, but we have to add this in here. We have to add this in here. We have to add, and they all have those little things. So I just started when I'd call them. I was like, hey, I saw your deal online. I'd like to come in and talk about the car, but is that the actual price that I'm going to pay? Well, yeah, we can't. I mean, we put that on. You know what I'm saying? It's never what their advertising online is never what you're going to pay.
It is not. Well, let us know your stories. What have you...
Yeah, right. Let's hear them.
Let's hear your great...
Call in now. We'll take the rest of the morning and afternoon hearing your experiences at the car dealership, because I'm sure there's some great ones.
It's like that cookie, the Great American Cookie Company. This is the Great American Car Buying Story Time.
And I'm sure there's tons of stories out there. Everybody. And the thing, this is a shared experience, because so many people, I feel like, are just like the thing that you dread the most is going to have to buy a car. I mean,
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that way.
So we're going to take it a step further. Just during the show today, text or comment in or text in. Let us know the things that maybe you dread the most.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to be positive. This show is about being positive, but I would like just y'all's feedback to get some conversation going.
And
some things you dread.
I'll tell you, some things you dread, and let us know if you dread this, because I'd be interested. Maybe I am the only person. How many people dread buying a car? Let us know. But also, my father-in-law, he was a great man. I loved him, but he's passed away. But he did build a relationship with a car salesman, and this shows you the difference in sales, like you were talking about. If you respect the buyer and you're honest with them, and you try to, he wouldn't buy a car from anybody else for the rest of his life except that one person. He'd call him and he'd say, I'm coming to buy a car, and the guy knew him, and but they had a great relationship. You told me about your dad had a great relationship with that came to the funeral.
You met him, yeah. Zolly Keebler.
Yeah.
Zolly Keebler from Alabama. He goes, Mr. Hip, I didn't know there was water wells here in Texas. That's good. I'll never forget that phrase. That is exactly what he said. He's one of my favorite people, man. And I remember him telling my dad that. My dad invited him to the house to come eat with us. And I just remember sitting there, and here was Zolly Keebler. Mr. Hip, I had no idea there were water wells like this. I said, brother, this is it, man. And we just developed this really cool friendship with Zolly. And you're right, he was at my dad's funeral. He loved my dad, man.
Yeah. And he sold him
3 or 4 cars over the time. So
it doesn't have to be that way. Maybe it's just my experience.
Joe Girard, by the way, Joe Girard is known as the number one car salesman in America. I'll tell you, this guy developed in such a way. This was way back between 1963 and 1978. This guy sold over 13,000 cars, and it was the little things. He would remember people's birthdays. He would write them notes. He'd call them. Of course, he didn't text them back then. He would telegraph them. You know, no, he didn't do that. But he got so busy that he ended up hiring his own staff. So he was like working for a dealership, but he had his own staff inside of the dealership to work for him. And this guy was unbelievable.
I will say I did have one good experience purchasing a car, and it was local. I won't say the dealership, but it was local. And we had to special order because we have so many children. We have a 15-passenger van. We had to order a van, so we had to have it specially ordered and sent in and all that. And that was a much more clearer process, because the guy was just really straightforward. You know, this is what it's going to cost for this. This is what it's going to cost for this. This is what we have to pay for shipping, blah, blah. And, we didn't pay sticker price. He gave us no one pays sticker price, but we paid. It was. I felt like it was fair. And he was really nice to us and really did a great job, and I appreciated that experience. And it didn't take 2.5 hours either.
Got in and out, got it done.
Yeah.
Well, hey, many of you are joining us. Welcome in as we do get rolling here today. A fun morning on Good Morning Huntsville. It's a Thankful Thursday, episode number 617. We want to thank Elliot Herzlich from Elliot's Jewelers. He's online at elliotsjewelers.com for all your jewelry needs. And, of course, our foundation support here with Pastor Jason Bay of First Baptist Church Huntsville, a harbor of hope here in our community. And we believe it's a harbor of hope because true hope is only found through Jesus Christ. We want you to come and be a part of what the Lord is doing here at First. If you're not here, get plugged in somewhere, whether it's here in our community or wherever you may be listening. We have people from Ireland. So if you find a church, and hey, for you Ireland people and Germany people that are out there, you tell us where you go and what that culture is like. I want to hear some Ireland churches.
Yes.
What those? Have you ever been to? I know you've been to the Philippines, but have you ever been to like Ireland or Germany or any of that?
I'm not a well traveler, or whatever you call it, well-versed traveler. I wish that I did have the opportunity to get out more. I learned so much. Getting outside the United States teaches you so much about the world and different cultures. But I've been just to like Mexico, of course, and to the Philippines, but not really ever been into Europe or anything like that.
So you ever been to the Holy Land?
No, I'd really like to go.
We got a plan. One thing, I was talking to my uncle. He's 92, and he went, and he's got a very I think I've told you about my uncle. He's a very distinct voice. I love my uncle to pee. He's the one that got me into computers, him and my cousin and all sorts of stuff. But I was talking to him the other day, and we never have long conversations. You have anyone in your family like that you love them to pieces, but they just you just can't talk to because they want to get off the phone?
Right. My
uncle has never liked talking on the phone. And so I'll call him, and usually it's a 30-second, hey, Uncle Warren, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. What's going on? Not much. All right, well, I'll talk to you later. I mean, it's like that. That's it. Yeah. And it's like not that he's not appreciative. He just doesn't like talking on the phone. And I'm kind of the same way.
I'm like that, too. And I know people that probably talk to me and think, oh, my gosh. But my mother.
What a jerk.
My mother and my sister, they love talking on the phone, and they will talk and talk in circles. They'll hear the story, and then they'll come back around to, oh yeah, I was talking about this, and it's just. But no, I'm usually the person that says, okay, well, I guess we'll talk to you later.
You're like this. I do the same.
And the point is.
No, I get on the phone and talk a little bit, but there's something. We'll take a break here in a moment. We've got a friend that should be joining us, and we'll announce that here in a minute. But I wanted to mention this. I love getting on the phone and reconnecting with people that I hadn't talked to in a while, though. I do like doing that. And I think I was sharing with you a while back, as I was driving, just this random guy popped into my head, and I ended up having a great conversation with him. His name's Ron Patton, and one of my customers from when I had Click. And the other day, another name popped into my head, and I got on the phone and called. And it's just so neat to reconnect with some of these people I hadn't talked to in 15 years, and they were surprised to get a call from me. But a lot of times when I'm out driving, and sometimes I'm driving for a long time, especially doing these broadcasts for New Waverly, I like to get on the phone, just kill time and talk to people. But it is important. My uncle, it was funny, though, because, he's getting up in age. He's having a harder time taking care of himself, still stubborn as all get out. He will refuse to hardly let anybody help him. He finally gave up his driver's license. A few years ago, he would drive and walk around inside HEB because they didn't really have a rec center down in Pearsall or anything. So he'd go to HEB and walk around. Praise God he did, because he ended up having a heart attack. And if he would have been walking somewhere else, nobody would have got to him. They got to him quick. He's okay. He's fine. But I mentioned all this because I called him the other day, and we had a conversation, Jace. I was like, whoa, this is awesome. And he started telling me, I just asked him, hey, have you ever been to the Holy Land? And he started telling me all about when he went back in the 70s. And then he goes, but I wouldn't go now. You better, no, don't be going now. He was telling me there's too much going on. And he told me stories about how they used to go to Mexico and build houses with the church that he was involved with. But then he was telling, but don't go now. It's like, well, where am I going to go then?
Yeah, right.
But there's one thing that he said that he never says. My dad's side of the family, it's nothing bad. I love them to pieces. But the word love was never shared. And I don't mean that in a negative way. They just
didn't say it.
My dad was real open with always saying, hey, I love you. I love you. And so he instilled that into me. I say it to people here in town. I'll give somebody, hey, man, I love you, man. Jim Beam and I say it to each other, hey, love you, brother. Jim's the same way. He'll tell you that. And I love that. My dad taught me that. And it's important to share that with people.
Absolutely.
Especially men. There's nothing wrong. Men cringe when they hear that word for some reason. Men, tell your kids you love them. It made such a huge difference in my life because the way my dad told me that. And so and I always tell my Uncle Warren this. I say, Uncle, I love you. He'll go, okay, bye. That's how he always is. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you something. I had to call my mom. This Saturday, I'd called my uncle to check on him. And we were driving back. We went to a little fall festival down in Spring, Bridget and I and the kids. And on the way back, I called my uncle. And I talked to him. I forget what I called him for. Oh, I was asking him about how my grandma and for some reason, I had this random thought because we went to a pumpkin patch. And I thought, that's like an old school pumpkin patch. It's not even a patch. They just,
Right.
So someone had told me that my dad, my grandma and grandpa had met in like a pumpkin patch. And it sounded super cool and old school. So I called my uncle to confirm this. It just randomly popped into my head. And he's like, no, they didn't meet no pumpkin patch. He's like, they met the watermelon patch or something like that. And so we ended up talking about this. And at the end, I said, well, Uncle Warren, I said, I really do appreciate you talking. And we talked for a good 5-6 minutes. And at the end, I said, well, Uncle, I love you. And he goes, oh, well, I love you too. He's never said that, ever.
Wow.
And, man, it just, even my wife looked at Bridget. She goes, "Did he just say that?" Because he knows.
Yeah.
And so I called my mom. I said, "You'll never guess what happened." She couldn't guess. I said, "Uncle Warren said he loved me," and he does.
Yeah.
I mean, when I had surgery years ago on my esophagus, I told him that I was having surgery. He drove all the way from Pearsall to be there. And I remember in my, in your stupor state of mind, I remember telling him, "I'm so glad you're my favorite person," And he came just to be with me during that surgery. Isn't that cool, man?
That is nice.
Well, let's take a break. A lot going on. Jason Bays here from First, and we'll take a break. More to come as we continue promoting and celebrating the good here in our community. Comment in. Let us know you're out there. We do see a few comments, and engage with us. That's what makes the show fun. We want you to engage and comment back in with us. We'll be back in a moment as we continue to promote all happening good here in Huntsville. This is your show. It's Good Morning Huntsville, brought to you by First Baptist. Stay with us.
Hey friends, this is Rob Hipp, and I'm here to talk about a true expert in the real estate world. Let me introduce you to my good friend, Terry Coleman of the Coleman Realty Group.
With 33 years in the business, I've dedicated my life to making your real estate dreams come true. Specializing in residential properties, I serve Walker and Montgomery counties, from Spring to Trinity and areas all around.
They call her your next door agent, and here's why.
I'm not just here to help you find a home or lease a property. I'm here to build lifelong relationships. Whether it's residential or commercial, farm or ranch listings, there's something for everyone.
Now you might wonder, what sets Terry apart from other real estate agents? Well, it's simple. She goes above and beyond for her clients, like the time she surprised a family from California with a fully decorated Christmas tree and gifts when they returned from closing. You shouldn't have to compromise on the joys of home during life-changing moments. So, if you're ready to make your real estate dreams come true, here's what you need to do.
Visit my website at myrealtorterry.com and let's make those dreams a reality.
That's Terry Coleman, your expert in all things real estate.
I'm Terry Coleman, your next door agent, and I can't wait to help you open the door to your new life.
Since 2010, the Oak Ridge Disciple House has helped men break free from addiction, not with quick fixes, but lasting change through Jesus Christ. They've celebrated 167 graduates at Oak Ridge and 138 more at Interfaith with an 80% success rate. That's compared to just 5% in most works. And now, celebrating 15 years, they're building their third house in Tennessee and just launched a women's program, Restoration Ranch in Texas. It's all for God's glory. And here's the heart of it. They never turn anyone away for lack of money. In fact, 95% of families receive scholarships. As one person put it, don't talk about it, be about it. Every penny counts. Donate today at oakridgedisciplehouse.com and help change a life forever. The Oak Ridge Disciple House. Online at oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Real recovery, real hope. This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville.
This is Jason Bay, the pastor at First Baptist Church, Huntsville, and you're listening to Spirit Radio, the spirit of Huntsville.
Spirit Radio.
All right, we're just going to continue trucking along this morning. Time now is 8:13. 8:13.
7.
Not 7, 8:13. Welcome back. 54 degrees outside today right now. Beautiful morning here in Huntsville. That humidity is at 83%. Nice cool winds out of the northeast at 7. I do want to have folks be reminded, keep on alert this weekend. The National Weather Service continuing to talk about this forecast. It's evolving daily. And last night they were saying on the news and through the National Weather Service that we could have some really strong to severe thunderstorms early Saturday morning. Heavy winds. They said they may not even rule. They said they couldn't rule out a tornado or two. Also, they said that this could be some pretty severe weather on Saturday morning. So just be alert. 100% chance of rain on Saturday, and we just want you to be safe. And that's why we were mentioning that and talking about it. Well, friends, we are thankful today. It's always a great opportunity to have friends join us, and even when they're remote. And we've got a good friend of ours that we'll bring into the conversation now, someone that we have just thoroughly enjoyed getting to know over this past year or so. It is our friend, Mr. James Poole, joining us. from OneCry. James, can you hear us this morning?
I can. Good morning, Rob. Good morning, Pastor.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Well, great to see you. James Poole is with OneCry, and many of you may know about the Asbury Revival that happened several years ago. OneCry has been so influential with colleges across the nation, and we are seeing the Lord do some incredible work. Mr. Poole is local here to Texas, I believe up in the Waco area, and we wanted to have him on today, Jason, to talk about some great things coming up here at Sam Houston State.
Yes, absolutely. But I've been familiar with what OneCry has done and what they do for a long time. Ever since I met Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones informed me, hey, be a part of what OneCry does. So as we get started here, Mr. Poole, this morning, would you explain to us kind of your role in that?
Sure, thank you. OneCry was established in 2011. Byron Paulus, who was the head of Life Action Ministries, and he had a vision for, networking people to pray for revival and to really pursue revival and to experience revival. And so he brought there were about 5 of us as pastors at the time together. And I had just felt the call to lead the pastorate to network people to pray for churches and ministries other than their own. And so he collected a few of us guys, and we had a wonderful experience just seeking God's heart together. And out of that came the ministry now known as OneCry. It was birthed in 2011, and probably not too long ago, probably in 2020, 22, we became a very independent ministry. We were connected to Life Action Ministries for a long time, and then we pulled away. I guess we became a teenager in age and felt like we could stand on our own, and so God's blessed ever since. And we actually have a global ministry now. Around the world, there are people who are praying for revival and spiritual awakening. We have many in other countries who are praying for revival in the U.S. And so it's exciting just to be a part of that type of heart and that type of ministry. And I guess it was about 8 years ago now, 2017, I felt impressed to leave our base in Michigan and to move to Waco, Texas, back to my alma mater, which was Baylor, just to invest in students and to pray that God would bring revival to campuses across the nation. And God's been so gracious to do that. Just as people have prayed, we've seen him work powerfully.
Yeah, and there's obviously been huge movement amongst this generation of college students, and I've noticed it here being connected with Sam Houston State University. We've seen a really massive influx of college students in just the last few years. It's something we prayed about for a long time, but really seeing that fruit coming to fruition at this point. Tell us about what God is doing nationwide in the college ministries that you see, and then also there on the campus of Baylor.
Okay. One thing I'm seeing is that this young generation, Gen Z, and now Gen Alpha, they have a real passion to be relational. And I think this perhaps came out of COVID. You know, God can cause all things to work together for good. And I think one thing he's done even through COVID is that he's created this generation of young adults who are passionate to know the Lord in relationship with him. They're passionate to have a relationship with others. And it is a very bold, a very dynamic generation that they love to worship. They love Jesus. They love to be in relationship evangelistically. They love to make connections to help people meet Jesus. And so this is an unusual time. I haven't seen anything like this since the Jesus movement. And I'm an old guy, and I was blessed to be at Baylor University 50 years ago during the Jesus movement. And so what I'm seeing is very similar to what I saw then, maybe even in a greater dynamic than what we experienced back then. So it's a very exciting time, and it's really spreading around the globe. This generation is just stepping up to want to love Jesus, and they're bold in it.
I love that. I love that. And yes, I think a lot of times in our churches, all we see is what's right in front of us. And we've experienced, as you know, over the last 10 years or more, people have really been bombarded with the kind of the decline of the American church. We've read it in statistics and every other way. We've seen that, and it really came to a head during COVID. But I, like you, I think a lot of our people don't realize the revival that's taking place amongst our young people. And you guys were a part of what was going on at Asbury. Tell us just a little bit about how that unfolded and how OneCry had a role in that with the National Collegiate Day of Prayer.
A lot of what we have done is stood in the background and prayed for revival. And some of our team were actually there present at Asbury and were able to speak into God's activity there. We actually had Baylor students, which I work with, who went to Asbury and prayed, went through the commitment that you had to make, even to be on stage, somewhere on stage, and shared even during that time. And it's so reflective of what God has done in the past when he brings revival, where there is a great brokenness over sin. And these young adults were being so transparent, being willing to humble themselves. And that's sort of a mark of revival when it comes. 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people humble themselves and pray, seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then God promises to come and bless the land. And that's what we're seeing with this generation. They do not mind being very transparent. And so all over, we've seen people be very humble. We've seen it at Baylor, where students have confessed sin publicly. They've gotten together and just humbled themselves before the Lord and each other. And God blesses that.
Amen.
When people are transparent and they're just willing to get right with him and with those that they have hurt or offended, or those that they need to, just in their circles. So
yeah, I think it is so amazing. And we're seeing that here as well. There's such a hunger for the Word of God and just to people to, like you said, connect. And I really wanted to go back to that aspect of it, because it really is. I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I really feel like it's very unique, and it's almost more first century like than the way we've experienced church in the past. Kind of, come to church, come to Sunday school, but there is. It seems to be almost even more authentic, the way that they are experiencing Christ and the way that they are experiencing this movement of God. Tell us about that.
Yeah. I think one key ingredient to that is that this movement is word-centered. And that gives me great hope, because you have a lot of movements that are maybe emotionally based or experientially based and really don't encompass a firm stand in the Word of God. But this movement that we're seeing now, and these young adults, they love God's Word.
Absolutely.
And they're hungry to be in the Word of God. And that gives me hope that this is going to be a long-term movement.
Yes.
And I'm just excited to be able to walk with them at Baylor and experience that hunger. They're so attentive to the Word. And even in the churches in Waco, they're just exploding with these young adults who are being attracted to places where the Word of God is very clearly, affirmatively taught and lived out. And so it's an exciting day, I think, to just see a return to the Bible, a return to truth, and
Absolutely.
a great love for Jesus.
Now, we don't have a lot of time with you because you're a busy man. We don't want to take a whole lot of your time this morning, but I did want to, Dr. Jones, who's one of our deacons here, he has a relationship with you and OneCry that goes back for years, and he is our prayer coordinator here at First Baptist, and he believes firmly, just like you do and we do, about praying for revival, praying for spiritual renewal amongst our churches, praying for spiritual renewal amongst our college students, and And he's very, very passionate about that, and I appreciate about him, because when we sit in a room, he's always talking about we need to be on the cutting edge of what the Lord is doing. Look for where the Lord is blessing and join him there. And so he had this, we knew that God was blessing what was going on in Waco and at Baylor. And then we also know what's going on here at Sam Houston. The BSM is packed. They're really experiencing the movement of the Holy Spirit. And so Dr. Jones wanted to get you, and we did too, get you to come down here and speak to some of our students here at the university that are on fire for the Lord, to kind of share this global vision, and also to help them understand that this isn't just something that's isolated at Sam Houston, that you're seeing that as well at Baylor, and also some evangelistic techniques that you guys have seen as effective. Tell us, you're coming down next Tuesday. You'll be down here on the campus at Baylor, and it'll be at 7 o'clock. And we want to encourage all of our college students that are listening, or all those that are associated with churches, to let their college ministries know that he is going to be down here at 7 o'clock on the campus at Baylor. And what are you going to be sharing with those students?
Actually, I'm looking forward to being there at Sam Houston State. I think you mentioned I'd be at Baylor, but I'll be at Sam Houston State.
Sorry. Yeah, Sam Houston State. Sorry about that.
First of all, I want to just praise the Lord for Dr. Jones.
Yes.
Somebody his age, with the passion he has, I just am so grateful to see that. And it means a lot, I know, to me. It's bound to mean a lot to Huntsville and to the churches there, because he wants to see God move powerfully there. And I am looking forward to coming and being among you and just sharing from God's word. There's some basic principles that we need to understand that just go hand in hand when it comes to seeing revival take place. And, you know, you can't get away from the importance of prayer. Every great movement of God has been birthed in or out of prayer. And with a generation now who does not mind being on their faces before God. I'm just excited about that kind of heart. And so we'll be looking into the scripture to understand some of those prayer principles and how they then connect with evangelism. You know, prayer and evangelism are like two sides of the same coin. Absolutely. And you really can't do either effectively in the church without both being present and being strong. And so we'll be encouraging that, and hopefully we'll see God continue to do a powerful work there on your campus and in your city, just as students get a stronger grasp of the connection between prayer and evangelism.
Absolutely.
And humility undergirds it all. And relationship undergirds it all. The kind of evangelism we're seeing is different than what the church has known in the past. It's not just, here, let's take a tract and go knock on a door.
Yeah.
Students today are wanting to build relationships. So they go out establishing relationships with the intent of loving people into the kingdom of God.
Isn't that the way Jesus did it?
Exactly. So I'm excited about being among you and just meeting some of your students and some of your leaders, and trusting that God's going to accomplish a really great work going forward. I've already begun to initiate getting people across the nation to pray for you.
Awesome. I love it.
That's great, James. You've become such a great friend to this community, and we're so thankful again for that relationship that Dr. Jones has brought upon y'all two together, and now a friend of Huntsville. You had mentioned, we'll ask just another couple of questions. I know that you got to go. I just wanted to mention to you, you know, I always hear that phrase, oh, there's no hope for the generation. I've mentioned it on this show. That is a phrase that I just do not like, because we are seeing tremendous hope all across the globe for our young people especially. My question to you is, and you kind of already answered it in a way, you know, maybe there's somebody watching this morning. We have a lot of friends that aren't connected to the college. We have a lot of friends that are actually watching this show from other communities, but they can still be involved in an event like this through prayer. Maybe briefly just talk about, you know, the power of prayer and how it does make a real difference in these type of situations, especially with our youth.
It makes a huge difference, Rob. Being here in Waco, I know about 8 years ago when we came, it's as if God began to just draw people here who had a passion for revival. And I realized once I arrived here that there had been a group of pastors who had been praying for years that God would bring revival to Waco, Texas. And those pastors were faithful. They met every week, rain or shine. They were there on their faces, crying out to God for revival. It was a interracial group, interdenominational group, but they all had the same passion to see God move in revival. And I believe that's one reason why we're seeing God move in communities now, is because that there are faithful pastors, there are faithful church members who for years have been crying out to God that revival would come to their communities. And so
Absolutely.
I just trust that even those around you in Huntsville, in that area, uh, can truly have a fresh passion to just cry out to God that He'll move in ways that are not the norm.
Mm-hmm.
There
Mm-hmm.
will be a revival in Gen Z. And you know, you mentioned that we also often dog Gen Z. And you know, that generation, they're either extremely lost and radical in their lostness, or
Mm-hmm.
they're extremely saved
Mm-hmm.
and radical in their salvation. And so that's why we have all these news reports about turmoil and clashes with
Yeah.
police and cities in turmoil. And you know, the same thing was going on back in the Jesus movement. Um, you know, it's so crazy to see the similarities. But what those who were so lost did got the church and the nation really hungry to
Yeah.
experience Jesus in a new way, who changes things. He changes our culture. He changes communities. And so there's great hope in Christ when we
I love that. I love that. I wish in the scripture, I wish that you were either hot or cold, and that's what we're seeing here
we are.
in this generation. Hey, I wanted to, before you go, I wanted you to let people know. Now, I was so thankful years ago whenever Dr. Jones turned me on to OneCry and what the mission is, but not only that, how people can get connected with OneCry, because it is a nonprofit organization, and I love the mission that it's just seeking people to get together and pray for spiritual renewal. And you guys send out a newsletter every month and emails to people that can give them specific prayer points. Tell us a little bit about that and how our people here can connect with OneCry to be a prayer partner going forward.
If people have a heart for revival, we would love for them to connect. And we would love to be able to provide resources to help them even pray better into this new movement of God. They can go to simply onecry.com online, www.onecry.com, or just onecry.com, and see our homepage and be able to sign up to receive prayer calendars, different types of resources. And we would be so appreciative if you would just join this movement of really crying out to God for revival. We also love to send out stories of how God's moving here in the United States as well as around the world. And you know, the fame of revival spreads the flame of revival.
Yeah, I
That's
like that.
that's always been true with all the major awakenings that we've had. And we would love to just have as many as possible from the Huntsville area and beyond join in with us in these days and just really staying on top of God's activity in this country. And it's fun to report it. These are great days.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, brother. Hey, and listen, I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Rob's going to put all the information about it on our website, and we're going to clip this and repost it. We encourage everybody out there that's listening to continue to share this and let your churches know. James Poole will be with us Tuesday next week, 7 o'clock at the LSC at one of the rooms there on the LSC at 7 o'clock next week, and it's going to be a great time to talk about what God is doing and hear what God is doing on the campus of Baylor. But not only there, they've actually been a part of the National Collegiate Day of Prayer at Asbury, but also Texas A&M University last year. And where is it this year? It's at Liberty, right?
Liberty. That's right, in February.
Yeah.
Last Thursday of February.
Wonderful.
And
Well, James, I say Mr. Poole because that's the way my dad raised me. I know you said to call you James, but James, we appreciate you so much, and thank you for your heart. I was talking to Jason and Dr. Jones after our call yesterday, and I said I don't know of a man that is more kind than you, James, and we can see the fruit of the Lord and all the wonderful things that he has done through your life to make an impact for his glory, for not just this generation, but the next generation as well. So thank you so much, my friend.
Well, thank you so much, Rob and Pastor, for allowing me to be with you. And Huntsville has a very special place in my heart. Years ago, at the end of the Jesus movement, I actually served on staff at University Heights Baptist Church.
Yes, sir.
I was the music, youth, and education minister. All in one.
Yes, sir.
And I grew to have a fond affection for your community. And it's exciting to be able to go back there. I actually got married while I was there. As a young man. So that was the home, our first home for my wife and I. And she's going to be coming with me to Huntsville. So we're looking forward to going back and just enjoying some memories as well while we're there.
Well, it'll be so good to see you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. God bless you, and we can't wait to see you, my friend.
Take care.
Yes,
Have a great day.
God bless.
I'll tell you, Miss James is one of the nicest guys that you could ever meet, and you can see, Jason, the heart of what the Lord has put in his heart and how he continues to use him in so many mighty ways. And, for folks that are listening, this event taking place next week, there may be other churches out there in our community or even throughout the county. We want you to come and be a part of this, to get involved for the college ministries, to empower these. It's going to be an evangelistic training to learn. And so, there's organizations that may be watching this saying, well, we already do our thing. Well, come and be a part. Let's unite together and watch this is when revival starts, is when people come together, Jason.
I love what he said. The fame of revival spreads the flame of revival. Think about that. But because what I'm interested, not only to hear him talk about the techniques, but like I said, we get such an isolated view of what's happening just in our church or just in our small group or just in our college ministry, that we lose sight of what's happening globally or, across the nation. And that's why you need someone like James to come and be able to share a bigger perspective. Hey, have you heard about what God's doing here? Have you heard about here? And when you put all those stories together, what you realize is there's just one campus. It's a nationwide movement amongst these young people. And like I said, we've had 30 or more college students be in our services on Sunday, and it's been a wonderful thing to see. There's just been an influx of these college students coming, and not just coming, joining the church, but also saying, how can we serve? How can we find a place to be a part? We put a lot of these young people to work in different areas, and it's been so powerful to see. And thanks a lot to our college ministers here and Josh Mashi, who works with the BSM and bringing those young people over. But I believe that when you see God working, you look to those people and say, hey, we want you to be a part. We need you to be a part. Come on, let's work to serve the Lord together. It's kind of like what Paul said to Timothy, don't let anyone look down upon you because you're young. That's beside the point, And I think we need to have the same attitude. Look at these young people and realize, hey, there is something happening, and let's listen to them as they are taking it really back to its roots, first century roots, building relationships with people just as Jesus did, loving on people and showing them the Jesus of the Scripture.
I love it. That old song, People, Loving People. I forgot who sang that. You would like it, Jason. It's one of them good old throwback country songs, man. Have you ever heard of that one?
I don't know.
It's good. It's good times. So
maybe you should sing a couple more bars. Let's hear it, Rob.
Yeah, no, it'd be terrible. People will tune out. Well, let's take a break. Today was my favorite segment with James. My favorite segment is always news you can use. I got some great news you can use.
Yes, I can't wait to hear it.
Oh, man, I can't wait. Somebody put up 40 and somebody else put up nada yesterday. We're going to talk about that.
We have to get an update.
Because you remember the old day whenever it would say, like, now loading, Well, there's something going on down in the Alamo City, and it starts like this. Now loading,
I know where you're going
New
with this.
dynasty,
Yeah, I
Get
know where
ready.
you're going. I saw it last night. We'll talk about it next.
We're going to talk about it, and we're going to be about it. We'll take a break. Stay with us. More to come at your show. This is Good Morning Huntsville as we continue promoting and celebrating the good in our community and the good happening down in the River City. We'll be right back after this.
Since 2010, the Oak Ridge Disciple House has helped men break free from addiction, not with quick fixes, but lasting change through Jesus Christ. They've celebrated 167 graduates at Oak Ridge and 138 more at Interfaith with an 80% success rate. That's compared to just 5% in most secular programs. The fact is, Jesus works. And now, celebrating 15 years, they're building their third house in Tennessee and just launched a women's program, Restoration Ranch in Texas. It's all for God's glory. And here's the heart of it. They never turn anyone away for lack of money. In fact, 95% of families receive scholarships. As one person put it, don't talk about it, be about it. Every penny counts. Donate today at oakridgedisciplehouse.com and help change a life forever. The Oak Ridge Disciple House. Online at oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Real recovery, real hope.
Tomorrow's Promise Montessori schools believe in creating spaces where children can learn, grow, and use their imaginations. At any Tomorrow's Promise location, children enjoy the largest playgrounds in town. Tomorrow's Promise Montessori is a fun school where every child learns at their own pace, and mastery of a concept is expected before moving on to the next concept. At Tomorrow's Promise, every child is respected, loved, and nurtured for the unique individual that they are.
Tomorrow's Promise Academy on Veterans Memorial now open. Visit tomorrowspromise.info for more information. Education you can trust. This is Guardian Defense in Huntsville, Texas, a trusted family-owned and operated gun store and range in the heart of East Texas. Guardian Defense is your one-stop destination for Texas LTC, NRA basic pistol and rifle courses, pistol refresher training, as well as a wide selection of quality firearms and ammunition. At Guardian Defense, empowerment is within reach through their Texas DPS-approved license to carry classes. Certified instructors will guide you through every facet of firearm safety, conflict resolution, and the pertinent legal aspects. Book now to become proficient and responsible in handling a firearm with complete confidence. For the eager learners, the fundamentals of pistol and rifle usage await discovery in their comprehensive 8-hour NRA basic courses. You're invited to connect with Guardian Defense on Facebook and Instagram, or give them a call at 936-293-0364. You can also visit them online at guardiandefensellc.com. Guardian Defense, your reliable partner in mastering firearm safety and acquiring quality firearms in the heart of Texas.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial, every day, every step.
This is Kay Boning with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, and you're listening to Spirit Radio.
The Spirit of Huntsville, spiritradio.fm.
Some new intro music for news you can use. Jason Bay, First Baptist Church, here today with news you can use live from Studio 1229J. The filming of 11 Days is commencing soon. Does that mean it's over?
Starting, I think that means.
What is it?
Coming soon.
What is
coming soon to a theater, big time theater near you.
It means that the free breakfast is almost over. Thank you to the production company. But now it is time for news you can use with Jason Bay. And boy, have we got something to talk about when you're ready, Jason. Here you go.
All right, here we go. Thanks, Rob, for that beautiful introduction. We do have some news you can use, and we'll start this morning where you want to start, Rob, which is on the sports page. The NBA tipped off this week. Wednesday was the official tip-off of the NBA season, and I know Rob's a big NBA fan. The first tip-off game was the Rockets versus Oklahoma City. That was a very entertaining game. It came down to the wire, 2 overtimes. Both teams played very well, very entertaining game. I watched that one with my son, and KD fouled out in the second overtime, and the Rockets came up a little bit short. But the game that you want to talk about, Rob, is the game that occurred last night with my Dallas Mavericks and your San Antonio Spurs. And Dallas Mavericks were unveiling their newest toy, which is Cooper Flagg, which is the rookie. I think he's 19 years old. He really should be still in college. And he's out of Duke. And
good kid, by the way.
Yeah, first-round pick. Very, very good kid. And they started him as – and I don't know if you watched the game, but Charles Barkley was giving him a hard time about playing him at point guard the whole game. And it did seem pretty ridiculous. Not that he can't handle the ball, but when he's handling the ball, he was distributing the ball when really what Charles Barkley was saying is he probably should have been the one shooting the ball, not just handling the ball. But anyway, the story of the night wasn't the Mavericks. The story of the night was the San Antonio Spurs. And I watched the first half. I fell asleep during the second half. And I want to tell you, Rob, I was very impressed with Wemby, which is, they said on the broadcast that he's actually grown even taller over the summer. He's put on muscle. He looks very, very athletic. Before, when he first came into the league, he looked a little bit awkward. Even though he was a great ball handler, he looked awkward. Not last night. It was impressive to see the way that he handled the ball and the way that he put up 40 points. So I know that this is your moment to shine and to rub it in, so I'm turning it over to you, Rob.
Well, it is a great day to be in Huntsville, Texas. I'll start by saying that. None of y'all care about the San Antonio Spurs, but I do.
Yes.
And it is my favorite team of all time, even before when they were losing, okay? I have to give you the quick background on this. Whenever I say quick, Jason's like, yeah, here we go. This ain't going to be quick.
It's all right.
The background goes back to my great-grandmother's house when I was 8 years old. Do you remember the UHF, VHF TVs with the control knobs on the top and the bottom? And then that little tuner in the middle of those knobs that you had to tune it?
Yep, and you had to hold your mouth just right and move the antenna around.
The very first thing that I ever remember watching on my great-grandmother's little tiny TV was the same. And there was something that drew me into that team. And I'll tell you who it was. It was David Robinson. And I said, man, that is a good guy. I remember as a kid saying, that's a great guy.
He was a great guy. There's no doubting that.
I remember watching him. That team was horrible. I got into the Spurs. Then my uncle would later really put the weight of what it means to be a fan, a real fan, on me, as he would live in San Antonio, live there, still does. And I would watch. I'd go spend the summers with him. He would put on Bill Schoening, the great Bill Schoening, who this was his first year in 25 years not calling a game. He retired from the Spurs. He would sync up Bill Schoening, WAI, with the TV broadcast, and I remember watching. And this was in '99, the NBA Finals, when everybody said it's an asterisk for the Spurs when they won there at Madison Square Garden, the NBA lockout season. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
And the Spurs had defeated the New York Knicks. That was also part of the Memorial Day miracle where Sean Elliott hit a miraculous three to carry the Spurs to victory and eventually win the NBA championship. And I developed even more of a liking for this team. Well, fast forward, of course, Tim Duncan's there. They start winning. You have the Twin Towers. Then they bring in the Big Three. When Robinson retired, they bring on Tony Parker. They bring on nobody does the voodoo like you do, Manu Ginobili. That was they began this dynasty. Although they never won back-to-back. They won in 99, 03, 05, 07, and then again in 13. Well, there has been this law with the San Antonio Spurs. At one time, the most winningest franchise of all teams in sports. There's been a law. COVID kind of put a damper on a lot of things. It kind of took the steam out of me as a fan. But that steam started to reignite again when they picked up a young man by the name of Victor Wembanyama, known as Wemby. This young man, they said, is going to be one of the greatest ever.
And I doubted it, I will admit.
I did after the first. I said, well, I don't know. He's good, but I don't know if he's that good.
I've seen so many lanky NBA players that were super tall, super thin, and were super riddled with injuries that never really amounted to the potential that they proclaimed.
Well, this young man in his third year, as you were talking about, he's bulked up. He's grown another inch or two, now close to 7'6", 7'5".
Let's put bulked up into perspective, Rob.
Well, stretched in bulk.
We're talking about a twig going from, a twig to a little bit of...
to a fig. Yeah. It's a twig Newton to a fig Newton. It's got a little extra bulk on him.
We're not talking about the second coming of Dwayne Johnson here.
Yeah. Well, let me start with this. Preseason doesn't really tell you much most of the time. This preseason tells a whole lot. The Spurs go 5-0 in preseason play. Wemby almost averages a double-double in nearly every game. That means you got at least, 20? Is it 10 points or 20? At least 10, right?
No, 10. Yeah, 10. Double figures.
Yeah, 10 in points, 10 in rebounds, 10 in assists. That's a quadruple double if you get all four, which is very rare. Triple double's rare, but a double double, 2 in each category. The Spurs go on to win every preseason game. Jason, they did not win any preseason game with less than 112 points. They averaged probably near 120 points. I mean, I'm looking at it. I'm just doing math in my head. They had to have averaged at least 120 points a game. 119 to 88, 112 to 107, 134 to 130, 128 to 108, and 133 to 104. The one thing that stands out in the preseason, though, their defense isn't that great. But they won those games. But last night, those Spurs were on fire.
125 to 92.
125 to 92. Wemby had 40 points. He looked like a player that was not 7'5". He looked like a Tony Parker out there on the he looked like a just this unbelievable 7'6" tower.
Definitely.
That could handle the ball like none I've ever seen.
Drop back threes.
Spurs are back, baby, and it's the dynasty is loading. Get ready, Jason. That's all I wanted to say.
40 points, 15 rebounds, 3 blocks. So, yes, that guy is something else. They say he's already, this first game, they're already talking about him being the MVP for this league because for this year because he has really turned a corner in the way that he's playing. So, hey, I'm props to you, man. It's your year, it looks like, but
Dallas is good though.
Well, Dallas is going to be they're not going to win the championship this year, but don't sleep on them because once they get all their pieces back, then Kyrie will come back. I think they said no sooner than January, and whenever he gets back. But putting all those pieces together is difficult. They really don't have a point guard at this point.
I wanted to just to publicly say something. See, Jason and I we have a good friendship, but we may have a little bit of clash on the basketball side of things. But I'm going to tell you what, brother, we don't have no clash on the football side of things. We are Cowboy blue through and through.
Yes, and this is a big game for Cowboys this Sunday. They'll play Denver Broncos in Denver. And this will be a really testing point. A lot of people are saying it could be the turning point for the rest of the season because they believe that if after last game, they won 44-22, and the offense has been number one in the league. Of course, the defense has been last, but right at the bottom. But if the defense could play a little bit better, what they're expecting that if Dallas can go down there and replicate what they did last week, this Sunday against the Denver Broncos, there's a good chance that Jerry will make even more moves to try to push this year for something special. So we'll see. Speaking of, continuing on the sports story, the sports page, college game day on Saturday mornings? Well, college game day, they've made some changes over the last few years, but one of the biggest changes is that they've added Pat McAfee to the college game day lineup. And, he's been doing this for a while, but this year there's been some people over the weekend really came down on the show. A lot of people are responding that This one fan saying, he's ruining the show for me. I hate watching it now. He's ridiculous. Not a fan. Don't like him. No class at all for what used to be a group of classy guys. Pat needs to go. Not a fan at all. This is Instagram feedback. And I think Pat McAfee is one of those kind of polarizing figures. I don't know. I like him. I think he has a lot of energy. He's fun. But I can see how he would rub some people the wrong way. But he did respond, and he blamed it on, Pat McAfee blamed it on old white people. He said,
in typical fashion.
Those are really the people that hate me the most at this stage of life.
He comes across as a pretty aggressive dude, but I think a lot of these guys, Jason, you listen to sports radio more than me. I mean, I worked in it for a minute, but I didn't, be honest, I didn't know what I was doing.
You did.
You have to sit there and watch sports daily to live that life, and I didn't know enough about what was going on to keep up with it. But there seems to be, Jim Rome started all this really in your face, blah, 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 in sports. He really did.
Yeah.
And Stephen A does it, and he gets away with it.
Yeah.
But now all of these guys, I feel like, are trying to force something. Just be yourself and quit forcing this aggression when you talk about sports.
Now, if you watch Pat McAfee, I will say most of the stuff that he says is positive. He's not one of these guys that is just getting on. But he's very, he's very rah, rah, rah type of guy. He's like really, pumping up the crowd and standing on his chair and, not the kind of guy that's just going to sit there and talk about sports, with his tie all buttoned up. He's got the big belt buckle. He's doing all the crazy stunts and stuff like that. But he is very positive in his outlook. I mean, like he has with the other football players, with coaches and all that, he's not the kind of guy that's running down a lot of people. But apparently you either love him or hate him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on. Still on the sports page, the Super Bowl has run into some pretty severe controversy this year. Have you heard about this?
No. Mm-mm.
All right. Well, it's the NFL halftime show. So there's been this what do you call it when people sign something? Petition.
Petition, yeah, gotcha.
There's been this petition going out for Roger Goodell to put a stop to this year's Super Bowl halftime show, because this Super Bowl halftime show is going to be performed by Bad Bunny. Now, I know you're a big fan of Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
But the petition is to kick him out and to be replaced by the country music star George Strait. So, in fact, it's gained so much traction that he had to respond officially to it. He says, It's carefully thought through, he says. I'm not sure we've ever selected an artist where we didn't have some blowback or criticism. It's pretty hard to do when you have literally hundreds of millions of people that are watching. He said, he went on to note, he's one of the leading and most popular entertainers in the world. That's what we tried to achieve. It's an important stage for us. It's an important element to the entertainment value. But he's not American. He's Puerto Rican, and a lot of his music is in Spanish. And so, I don't know if you've heard about this, but Turning Point USA is providing an alternative to the halftime show this year.
Wait, hear it first here on the show, Jason.
All right.
Because, we break things before they happen.
Yes, we do. We actually do.
The old Good Morning Georgetown show unfortunately broke COVID before it came out. Did I ever tell you that story? I won't go into it. But we had mentioned, my goodness, what if that thing breaks out to the U.S.?
There you go.
It happened. Sorry that we said that. Here is something really important. You've heard it first here on the show. The Turning Point USA halftime show will have more viewers than the NFL halftime show. I guarantee it. It will have more viewers. Advertisers are going to be asking for their money back. They're going to be disappointed.
Yep. Turning Point USA in October of 2025, the organization announced its own all-American halftime show set for February 8, 2026, intentionally coinciding with the Super Bowl halftime slot. The move framed around faith, family, and freedom, and with an emphasis on music genres like Americana, worship, and poignantly, he says, anything in English signals an ideological fork in the culture road. So there you go. If you don't want to watch Bad Bunny, turn to Turning Point USA. And the only thing, I agree with you that it's gonna wind up drawing more fans. They probably won't report that, but I don't know exactly how you'll be able to tune in. I don't know if a network is going to cover it.
I bet somebody will pick it up. They're going to have to.
But I know that it will be streamed as well for sure. So there you go. There's some news you can use on the sports page. Couple of things I want to hit before we have to go, and I know we're running out of time here. CNBC published this article. I thought it was ultra wealthy, primarily live in these 10 cities. Now think about the world's richest people. Nearly a fifth of the world's richest people live in just 10 cities worldwide. Now, a city with the most ultra-wealthy people, those with a net worth above $30 million. Okay, so that's who we're talking about, ultra-wealthy. If you have to have a net worth of above $30 million. The number one city in the world for the highest population of ultra-wealthy people, where is it?
Huntsville, Texas.
Close. Second guess.
In Texas?
No.
Not in Texas?
No. It's obvious. It's obvious.
An obvious of where the wealth
location.
Is it in the U.S.?
Yeah.
And is it in the Northeast, like New York?
Yes, New York.
Okay.
Number of ultra-wealthy people, 21,380.
I guess the financial stuff, the Wall Street and all that makes sense.
The second city with the most wealthiest people is Hong Kong. But number 3, Los Angeles. Number 4, San Francisco. Number 5, Chicago. Number 6, Tokyo. Number 7, London. Number 8, Dallas. Number 9, Washington, D.C., and number 10, Houston. 2 of the top 10 cities in all of the world of the ultra-wealthy live in Texas. That's amazing. And I thought about, when I read this article, we think about, we look at ourselves, the wealthy, you think of China, right? You think of, but China's not even in the top 10. There's Hong Kong on there, there's Tokyo on there, but there's not Beijing's not on there. So I mean, I thought that's pretty interesting.
You think of Dubai, like Dubai. That isn't that the big city with all the wealth and the
oil
big buildings?
Money, but top 10 out of those 10 cities, there's only 3 that are not in the United States. So it's pretty interesting when it comes to the ultra wealthy.
You remember on Welcome to the hold on, I'm trying to
lifestyles.
Yes. The lifestyles of the rich and famous. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. Used to come on late night TV.
Who cares?
Yeah, right. You just saw that stuff when you were a little kid, and then you just went out and bought a whole bunch of Publishers Clearinghouse magazines so that you could one day.
Yeah, it's like me. And then they go bankrupt and they tell you don't get your money.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, my wife's been watching The Golden Bachelor. So inadvertently, I'm a recipient of this.
Keep us up to date on that, Rob, because y'all will watch it, so we don't have to.
Yeah, we'll give you all the updates. But what was pretty neat, the Golden Bachelor, obviously they're at the golden age. And there's a whole different mindset. These folks are actually respectful to each other.
Oh, wow.
Like the younger ones, they get into it. They try to pit these things, they try to make up stuff to make one look bad. Oh, did you hear what she said? Did you hear what he said? The Goldens don't do that. They've been there and done that. They're just looking for love. They're late in their life. Something happened. They're looking for love. Well, here's the deal. There was a golden oldie on there. This lady, and she just really wanted to be an Instagram influencer. That's all that she cared about. And she was telling the older. She goes, "Well, can I at least get a kiss on the camera for my followers?" And this was like an older lady, man. He told her adios. The Golden Bachelor.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I know you'll update us next week, Jason.
Speaking of updates, Rob, how's the Fantasy Football League doing?
Hey, if I could play that dun 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 for someone that that was not. But I was on auto draft. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I have
excuses. What I'm hearing right now is excuses.
Well, I've came back alive. I'm back on a 2-game win streak.
There you go.
Your buddy over here is now 4-3 on a 2-game win streak. And, boy, I ended up swapping out some quarterback. Now I've got old Dart from New York who had a phenomenal – the guy gave me 30 points last week.
Jackson Dart, is that his name?
Gave me a lot, yes, sir. And we are looking good. And that was without a tight end. I had messed up. So now I have pulled in a tight end. Something happened. But with all that being said, even though I'm on this streak, I'm still at the bottom of the barrel. I am number 7 out of 10. But we got one person in our group that's 0-7. I'm 4-3. I only have 638 points overall. But the league is so tight right now that the number 1 guy is also 4-3.
There you go.
So there you go.
That's your fantasy football update. And concluding news you can use, I always like to give you a list. Something, people love lists. And I want to give you a list here today. It says these are things senior citizens wish would return from the good old days. They wish would come back. Now, I think some of these are really, really good. Number 1, dignified leaders.
Yes, Reagan. Boy, I'm a huge. Have you seen the AI with Reagan?
Yeah. And they have Martin Luther King on there. Alan's been showing me that one. That's crazy.
There's one with Reagan, and he's like in the middle of some gang guys, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, and it sounds and looks just like him. And he goes, I'm just out here taking a stroll with my homies. What's up, guys? It's awesome, man.
Number 2. Frugality and repurposing. I still can't believe someone wrote the amount of clothing thrown out after a year these days. I recognize that the material is inferior, but at least repurpose socks into easy dust cloths, towels, or cleaning rags. I will agree. I think that nowadays we live in a disposable society. You throw out everything. You don't repurpose anything. You just trash it. And my mother's always griping at us about that because, a lot of older senior citizens are used to repurposing things. Number 3, popsicles the way they used to be. They had 2 sticks, and you could break them in half. They had flavors you could recognize, like orange, grape, root beer. The ones you see today are all red, white, and blue, or whatever. Let's get back to the basics.
Yeah, there you go.
This person is passionate about popsicles. Number 4, I like this one. Summer Saturdays when dads would be out in the driveway or in the alleys working on cars, helping each other. Some teaching their sons or daughters how to change a flat tire, change oil, etc. Kids running through the yards, laughing. Moms having neighborly chats, sharing gossip and recipes. I miss that. And I think that is true. I mean, I remember those days back when we lived in Texas, and Saturdays you just kind of chill with the family, go out and do stuff. Nowadays everybody's running everywhere with these leagues. What do you call them? The select leagues, baseball, and volleyball, and whatever, softball, and so every Saturday you're running all over the country, basically trying to keep up with your kids in these different leagues. Whenever Saturdays used to be just really a chance to be with the family, and others in the neighborhood would do the same. You kind of came out of your house on Saturdays.
And now if you're not on a select league, you ain't in.
Right. Number 5 was appliances that last. And this person said, I saw years these days, so you have to keep buying new. I talked to Phyllis about that last week, and she was telling me the same thing, that you try to hang on to your appliances as long as you possibly can, because the older ones are actually better than the newer ones, because the newer ones quit so often. Number 6, unbiased news reporting with no agenda. Number 7, when nobody cared about your politics.
Yeah.
And the last one that I'm going to share is entertainment without some moral or think about that. I mean, every movie that you watch nowadays has some sort of message that they're trying to get across. I was reading another article that was talking about how the movie industry is really struggling. Their top movie that's out now, is expected to lose like $100 million.
Wow.
But all of these movies nowadays, they have some sort of agenda behind them, and the ones that win the biggest prizes at the Oscars are always the ones that have the biggest political trying to teach us all.
It makes me wonder, not being political, but it makes me wonder there's just like this group that promotes only this group, when it comes to that. Like the Hollywood elite only promote the Hollywood elite because I don't feel like normal everyday Americans really enjoy a lot of that stuff anymore because people I talk to don't like it.
That's why they're losing $100 million is because they don't just produce something entertaining.
We need to get back to good, wholesome programming. One of the last shows that was on TV that I remember growing up that was really wholesome was Home Improvement. We need more shows like that, that were just good shows, no agenda. They were just fun. Tim Allen was such a great actor. I love those kind of shows.
Yeah. And I was reading one of the highest produced movies of the last year was the Minecraft movie. Mm-hmm. And I mean,
did you ever play that? I know your kids probably got into
they play
it. Did they ever
all
get
the time.
you into
it
any of it?
drives me nuts, the squares and the terrible graphics. I'm just like, come on.
Did you ever get into it, though?
No.
With them? Did you ever?
They tried me to build something like that. And I guess it's kind of cool because you can be creative and building things, but, man, it's just mind-numbing.
Somebody built a computer inside of Minecraft. Because there's logic in that game. So there is really cool STEM stuff in it.
Yeah.
And somebody had built a computer, and it was an AI. Mm-hmm. They built a AI, and it took it a long time to process stuff. But they, all these weird blocks that you can use because they're computing blocks. Mm-hmm. So they would go there and they made a keyboard in the game that you would dig or whatever.
Worked.
And it switches. Wow. And then it would say like, what is the weather today? And then you would flip these switches, and then it would be like, and then it would be like, the weather is this. What do you like of it? And they could communicate with it. And I was like, that's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So, well, hey, before we go, Jason, real quick, we do this is why it's important to watch the show.
Oh, there you go.
There's your code for today, 100XP. If you have the Hello Huntsville app, scan that in. That will get you 5 entries into our prizes. We have a Cafe Texan gift card we're giving away. Our friend Deborah Wine has put together some beautiful gift baskets as well. And we also have some tickets to the Shindig happening at the Old Town Theater. And so if you have our app, open that app up, go to scan QR code. And if you're on your phone, you can there's a way with the iPhones now and also your Android where you can scan that directly from your phone. So, and if you don't have the new iOS app, that has been updated now to include the scanning feature. The Android app has it. Just go to your iOS store, search for Hello Huntsville. It is in there, and you can scan that code right now for 100 XP. Again, that is 5 entries into our contest. That will expire tomorrow. So if some of you are going back watching this, that code will expire. These are cool because we can do whatever we want with these codes.
Well, let me just say I want to encourage everybody to download the Hello Huntsville app because it keeps you up to date on all the local news. It doesn't only have, and you can listen to the Hello Huntsville every morning right there on the app. Mm-hmm. It's the easiest way to listen to the program. If you're out and about in your car or whatever, you can click right on there. It lets you know when the program is live. And you have all the articles that really pertain to just about anything that's going on in Huntsville. So if you want to stay up to date on local news, I encourage everybody to download that app.
Yeah, download it. And also, we have launched on the iPhone, our new Spirit Radio app. We've rebranded it from Spirit Radio FM to now Spirit 94.3. iOS, Apple approved that last night. I woke up at 3:30, and I was excited because I looked, and it said at 1 a.m. Apple approved that app. And so the new Spirit Radio app, you can now download it on iOS. If you have our old apps, make sure that you go and you do that. So, well, real quick, Jason, before we go, you've been on a great series right now here, and we're going to be wrapping that up, I believe, this week on Anxious for Nothing. We want folks to come on Sunday, 10:45, and experience that. Let us know what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. This series has been really one eye-opening series, and it's really allowed everyone that's come to really look at themselves in the mirror, look at themselves internally and see what's going on. And I've had so many testimonies out of this series talking about dealing with anxiousness, dealing with anxiety, dealing with worry, dealing with stress, dealing with depression, and the things that so many of us face on a regular basis and how to combat these things, how to spiritually go to war with these things that bring us down. And to this Sunday, from Paul's message in Philippians chapter 4, where he literally says, be anxious for nothing, but in everything with prayer and supplication, let your requests be known to God. And we will be looking at that verse along with the verses that surround that and talking about Paul's method for the madness that he found himself in. And even in the being in the jail, he could still give God praise, knowing that that God was in control and that God knew about his circumstances. And that's what I want to encourage people today, is to know that God is bigger than your circumstances, and encourage you to come and be a part of our services here at First Baptist at 10:45 on Sunday. I promise you, God will bless you, and you'll hear something in the message, in the Word, that will transform your life.
Yeah, come and be a part. We'd love to have you, and we're so thankful for each and every one of you. Wednesday Night Life is wrapping up. One final thing is we want folks to come, whether you're here at First or not. Come this Wednesday, 5:30 to 7:30 at our Family Life Center across from the church. It is our annual fall festival. This is going to be great. I believe it's going to be the biggest one and the best one yet. And don't let that scare you to say, I don't want to be around a big crowd, because we have plenty of room. There is going to be so much fun. We want you to bring your family. Parents, bring your children. Like I said, even if you don't come to First, this is an opportunity for you to come. We just want to reach out to the community and provide a safe place for children and families to come and play games. Deborah has really got this thing rolling over the years, and so many volunteers have been involved. It's one of my favorite events outside of VBS that we get to do, Jason.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great. Next Wednesday night at
5:30.
5:30, come. We'll have food. We have all different kinds of games for your kids to play. They can come dressed up. No scary costumes, please. But all different ages. It's a great time to bring your kids out and just get some prizes, some candy, and fill their little baskets up.
When Jason said no scary costumes, that means no Rockets or Mavericks. Wear the Spurs gear if you don't mind. The AI has now did Bob Ross. Have you seen the Bob
Yes.
Rosses? And he's painting a Dallas Cowboys star. And he goes, "His pretty little happy trash can right here." And he's bashing the Cowboys, man. Come on.
Speaking of, everybody tune in on Saturday. It's a big game for my Aggies.
Hey, congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're 7-0. Going to Baton Rouge. The weather's supposed to be terrible, so I don't know what that game's going to look like. I mean, it's going to be supposed to be raining, heavy rain expected there in Baton Rouge. But yeah, LSU and the Aggies this Saturday night. So let's all pull together, and hopefully the Aggies can go 8-0.
We did have one comment, by the way, on what people dread before we go, Jason. Autumn Wheaton, our great friend, said this: I dread trying to find a new doctor and a new dentist. Had to do both recently. I dread having to deal automated things on the phone. Please, please, please just give me a human. I think that's very good.
And she brings up another good point. A point is that dealing with insurance about anything, dreadful.
Yeah, be careful. I had Blue Cross Blue Shield apparently call me from a 936 number, which I thought was sketchy to begin with. And they said that they needed to schedule an appointment to come into my home for an annual physical. And I said, why don't I just go to my regular doctor? And they were saying, well, sir, we really want you to be healthy. And it sounded extremely legitimate, but I said, I'm not interested. Why would you call me to schedule this whenever I could go to my regular doctor? She was saying, oh, it's free. We'll come into your home. What's your address? And I said, I'm not interested. Well, let's go ahead and get this going. What's your They were very pushy about it.
Yeah.
So be careful of that kind. It may have been legit.
There's
but
all kind of scams out there.
Well, hey, we want to lift you up. Be reminded today of all the great things happening here in our community. There are some events, and I'll wrap up with this. If you go to our app, a lot going on here in Huntsville this weekend. As we mentioned, fall festivals are getting started all over Huntsville. And tonight, really cool, Bearcat Madness. You have an opportunity tonight to come out and meet both the men's and women's basketball team there at Johnson Coliseum. They're going to have an ice maker, a ninja slushy machine. Wow, that's going to be pretty cool, Jason. Karaoke. They're going to do digital photos. They're going to have they're giving away all this stuff. They're giving away a toaster oven. You need a toaster oven?
I sure do.
Scholarship shots, free T-shirts. Come and be a part of Coliseum. I believe we'll get underway at 7 p.m. So
all right.
A lot going on here in Huntsville. Well, that'll wrap it up as I end every show reminding you this morning that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. So please provide a word of encouragement, lend a hand of support, I promise that somebody out there this morning needs you. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow. Billy Cawthon, Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We'll wrap it up with that. Good morning, Huntsville, and God bless. Jason, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you.
See you.